or lose, hit the booze.
You're listening to Bears Beyond the Gate, episode 196. Yes, 196. We're three fans who love the club, the game, and all things Bears. Each episode, we talk about the game that's gone, the game that's coming up, and anything else that takes our fancy, as long as it is vaguely Bears related. We try to be as balanced as possible, but ultimately we are trying to reflect the views and opinions of paying punters from all ages, backgrounds, and demographics. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but we do try to say it as we see it. This week we mull over the third defeat in a row at Franklin's Gardens and wonder whether, quote, the best form of defence's attack strategy has now run its course. And given that we have a playoff place hanging in the balance with only 3 games left, is there any way of tweaking the game plan to keep us in the top 4? The next time that we see the Bears will be the big day out in Cardiff, and sadly we imagine that Bath players and fans will be licking their lips with anticipation. It has to be yet another must-win for us. But how exactly are we going to do that? I'm Pete, and I'm joined by Miles and Lee for a cheeky beer and a bit of rugby banter at the Bristol Beer Factory tap room. Well, boys, it's been a very warm weekend. And we're here, sat here with slightly lighter ales. We've got the nice pint of Fern Ride, Bristol New Zealand IPA.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
Very good.
Have you been enjoying the sun, Lee? What have you been up to?
I haven't seen much of it, to be honest, Pete. I was working this morning. So yeah, I got back, and then it it's like this morning. It was actually quite mild, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you come out, and it's like, oh, blimey, it's 18 degrees, and I'm going to have to put the old sun cream on. But I did have a good day yesterday, rugby aside.
Yeah.
Because I was having a relegation celebration. Because and I do feel sorry for our listeners who are Rovers fans, but I need to get this in nice and early.
Do it.
The rugby let us down, but the football didn't. So commiserations to all the gas heads out there. But let's look forward to Barnet next season at home, eh?
Yeah, and of course on the flip side of that coin, big game on Monday tomorrow.
Yeah,
Bristol City playing Cardiff. Playing Leeds away. Leeds already got promoted. Bristol City box seat.
No, I don't think we'll get anything at Leeds. I don't think we'll get. No, I think that it'll all be down to the Preston game.
Yeah, so
I think that'll be the big one.
So a lot of excitement at Ashton Gate on that.
It's good. Well, I mean, it's good. It's good. With 2 games left, City have actually got something in the hat, which is brilliant because we haven't been able to say that for 12 seasons now, maybe.
And obviously we're a rugby pod, but we do share the arena with Bristol City, and I know there are some dual rugby football fans, and I think it's only fair for us to doff our cap to Bristol City season so far. But obviously there are gas heads out there as well who don't want to hear that. So I think we should move on.
Yes.
Miles, what about you? What have you been up to? Paddleboarding?
No, not this weekend.
Allotment?
Yes, the second one. Cutting the grass at the allotment this afternoon.
Seriously?
Roasting hot. Mountain biking this morning at glorious Ashton Court. And watching my son's first cricket match yesterday morning.
Lee, I'm going to say this before you say it, but that is so painfully middle class, isn't it? And that's coming from me as well.
Very painfully middle class, but not as middle class as Miles can go. He's got
I mean, to be honest,
level.
Middle class is his relaxing mode, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Normally he's up right in the high class.
Higher echelons.
I mean, when you say you were mountain biking, or when you say you were tending your allotment,
there we go.
People think of a little square thing. We're thinking of like
it's massive.
Stourhead, the National Trust place. That's the kind of size of your allotment.
Well, and this afternoon I went over to pick up my son to find he's been playing croquet with his cousin. I know it runs in the bloodstream.
Hey, Miles, there's a line. Just cross that line.
I'm speechless.
I thought you would be. I thought you'd love that one.
Thank God you're back.
Anyway, what have you been up to, mate?
Me?
Up to activities you might not done for a few years?
All I would do very, very quickly, because it's not a thing I want to dwell on. Yesterday I played a kind of charity football match. It was kind of charity in the sense that I used to play for Portland Old Boys on the Downs, and we used to have a big rivalry with Cotswold. And 20 years ago there was a big title decider game that Cotswold won. And 2 of the lads from each team had got together and organised a 20th anniversary game. And we played up at Golden Hill yesterday in the sun on the hardest pitch You have never seen. It was like I'll tell you what it was like. It was imagine if Last of the Summer Wine played football. It was a shocker. There are some people that have not aged well. And actually, I felt quite chipper.
Did you, mate?
I mean, I felt quite chipper until I tried to control the first ball and it came off my shin. And anyway, it is what it is.
Was it a full 90-minute match?
It was a full 90 minute, but we had 20 players, so I played about 60 of the 90. So I was off for 10, did the sort of last 30 of the first half, off for 20 in the second, came on for the last 20 when it was chaos.
Right.
Defence was everywhere. Anyway, on that note,
no, wait a minute. So 20 years ago, right, you were called Portland All Boys. So what do you call yourselves now?
Well, that is a good question. Answers on the post. Well, I just think it's Portland Old Men.
Yeah.
Oh. So something just landed on the roof, everyone. It's not rain, it's pigeons. Anyway, right, that's enough because people don't
talk about some rugby.
People don't come in to listen to the pod.
Have we got to talk about rugby?
We have got to talk about it, boys. But what I thought we'd do to start with is let's go to Stato. Let's get some stats. Let's start with stats from the game, Miles.
This is foreplay.
I know. You fluff us up, Miles, with some stats.
I mean, I'm sure most listeners, if not all, have saw the abysmal result yesterday. And I guess the stats that led to that are really possession, 56% Saints, 44% Bears, territory, 67% Saints. Yeah, carries, 70 versus Bristol, 60. And this is which we'll go on to talk about, where it all went a bit wrong. 47 missed tackles, Bristol, only 30.
I mean, that's jug avoidance, isn't
absolutely.
it?
And again, turnovers, 24 Bristol to Saints, 15. 5 tries to Bristol, 3 conversions, 7 tries to Saints and 5 conversions. And there we are. The scoreline, 48-31, sounds flattering in the end, doesn't it?
Have you got any penalty count on that?
It wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. There weren't too many. It wasn't worthy of writing down. It was like eight apiece. Nothing.
If I was being really churlish, I think we dropped the ball or knocked it on before we actually gave away the penalties. Our turnovers were kind of sort of mistakes, weren't they?
I mean, there's sort of a lot of unforced errors. Just simple. I mean, the weather wasn't an excuse, was it? No. It was fantastically dry afternoon, great running surface, Saints. And there's just not really an excuse for a lot of the sort of
we sometimes talk about stats, don't we, and say that sometimes stats don't give the picture of the game. And we've sat here a few times in the past, and the stats seem to have been on our side, and we can't understand why it's come. And of course, the cliche is the only stat that really matters is the final score.
Absolutely.
But this time, it seems to be that the stats
don't lie, don't
they? Certainly not. Well, they're not concealing anything. But it's not always. There's always a bit of a story behind this. So, I mean, Lee, before we kind of look into a few, maybe one or two sort of deeper dives into it. I mean, what's your when you finished when you've finish watching that game and when you see the result and you think about it, what was your general feelings?
Disappointment.
Yeah.
Absolutely disappointment. I don't know. I just feel we're dropping the ball at the wrong time. And I use that. And it's
literally
the worst pun in the world. I know that.
Oh, sorry.
But it just feels like a lot of the teams now, we've already discussed that, they've got their international players back now and they've hit full steam ahead. And it kind of feels like we're just tailing off at the wrong time. Yeah. I do feel that the engine room, we really struggled yesterday. And I've always felt that was going to be an area of contention with us having any strength of something to build on, a platform to build on. But ultimately, disappointment was how I felt after the full-time whistle.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, individually, it's horrible to lose a game to nearly 50 points, especially when I think we started quite strongly. Yeah. I thought we started well. I thought we came out with a bit of an intent. But it's just the fact that you add that to the kind of big picture since the restart. So we've had 4 games since the Premiership restart. we beat Exeter, and we were cock a hoop about that, and kind of maybe ignoring the fact we conceded 6 tries.
Yeah.
And then we've just had 3 pretty bad, disappointing games in a row. And that's not us saying that. That's not fans saying it. That's also coming out of the camp.
Yeah.
You know, there's been sort of high profile, posts from like Genji said it, and Pat's also said it. We're not, and said, that was bad, but we're going to be better.
They've been damaging defeats.
Yeah. And they have. And I think, we're not back. We don't want to patronise people, but we can. So in the bigger picture, it's disappointing. And of course, it's also disappointing the fact that this time last year, completely opposite happened, that we came back so strongly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, I know, sport is a weird thing, but we seem to have struggled by not having these games and being able to get people fit. And we haven't quite got everybody back. We haven't got Batley back. We didn't. Les Tigers, Williams pulled out. Yeah. Bates pulled out. It's like we were hoping that all of this massive time where we didn't have any rugby at all, everybody would be fit like last year. But I just also wonder that almost last year we weren't kind of expected to do it. We weren't in the top 4 when we came back last year. We didn't really have a target on our back, and we got the momentum. Whereas this year we were second when we came back, and I feel that there's that subtle. Pressure. Yeah. So Miles, what do you think?
Well, you're right. I found it thoroughly depressing when that sort of 7th try from Saints went over yesterday. Thoroughly depressing. Let's 3rd straight defeat. So that's 100. I think it's 137 points against in the last 3 matches. Yeah. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
And then Exeter scored a few as well.
Well, yeah.
So
absolutely.
let's forget about Exeter. Forget
about that. Yeah. I mean, any defence coach would be sacked basically based on those stats alone, wouldn't they? I think it's pretty inexcusable to have that many points scored against you. And I know, Saints were totally dominant, but still, and we'll talk about their playmakers, but you can't, still we had a leaky defence. We still had players that really, they were having too much space out on the wing and no one there. There's still some questionable defence decisions on some of the players, really. And that's taught, and that should be delivered on the training ground. And you're right. And I don't know that this... We'll talk about this whole disjointed 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 1 week on, has played into teams' hands, and without the European Cups, I think Bristol have come off potentially, from a Bristol fan, the worst out of any team, really. As in where we were, you're right. Were we in an inflated position? Well, no, we were beating every team away, and now we can't even beat any team anywhere.
Do you remember that time
worrying dip
when we had that? We got the record, didn't we, for the away win?
Yeah.
God, it does seem like last season, but it wasn't. It was this season.
I know.
Lee, you were going to say something.
I just wanted to say, just backing up what Miles has just said there. I think the thing that kind of got me a little bit was positionally. I think we were naive on a few occasions yesterday, and those are the sort of things that really shouldn't be. We shouldn't be talking about them. In a professional game, positionally naive.
But isn't this
positional naivety shouldn't be an issue.
But this is, you're right, because this is the system, isn't it?
Yeah.
The system is set in stone.
Yeah.
So and if you're training to the system, you're right. You shouldn't really be making difficult positional mistakes when you're not under pressure. Yeah. Now, of course, I guess the counter to that is that when pressure is put on, because the system works when you're in charge, when you're not in charge of the situation, it's very difficult. Now, Saints, after a good start by us, I thought we started well. We were kind of a bit unlucky. We scored, missed a conversion, but we're there. Then we got another try from Ravovo, but then that was disallowed. Now, it was a forward pass, but it was a great bit of play. It was a little, I think it was AJ, popped it to Lane, and it was a forward pass. It was frustrating because in those days, like in the old days, we'd have got away with that, and we would have got momentum. This day and age, we didn't get away with it. They brought it back, and you can't say that these moments think. But if we'd suddenly gone 2 tries ahead,
I think that's paper over.
This is what my question is going to be, and I was hoping you might say that.
It feels to me like, to use a boxing analogy, it feels like we're a boxer who's going into the ring really aggressively.
Yeah.
Right. But but actually we've got no defence. We've got no, like, when you're actually getting hit, we're not even holding we're not tucking our elbows in and holding our hands up. That's what it feels like to me.
Bit like a rumble in the jungle.
Yeah, it's pretty much rope-a-dope. Yeah.
I mean, that's George Foreman. He couldn't believe that he lost in Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
because Muhammad Ali just tied him out. Anyway,
but that's the way it feels. That's the way it feels on the pitch. It feels like we just don't seem to have that. It's either all in or nothing at all. And we need a balance.
Are you thinking that teams, Miles, you can comment on this, because he's just struck me, the old rope-a-dope. Are you thinking that actually teams now are thinking, you know what, Bristol, let them have a few Bristol will make a mistake at some point, and that's what they're mopping up, our mistakes.
Yeah.
And they're defending hard, and they're defending... I mean, it was like Leicester. Saints did the same thing. They had a couple of people in the breakdown to slow it down. They didn't need... And then they just had a brick wall out there.
Yeah.
And then they were cohesive, and they're just basically defending until we knock it on. I mean, we dropped it in the contact quite a few times. Yeah. We were forced into forward passes because we're forcing it, and it's almost like a bit like, maybe it is. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
You're right. I mean, apart from that disallowed try, but then they score 4 tries quickly, don't they? Even and then a disallowed one as well. So nearly 5 tries again before half time. You're right. I mean, we had one 5-minute moment of glory with Diego Bailey, and what the heck went wrong until half time? And it became, you could see at the end, there were some passes out there that were just reckless, all over the pitch, reckless. We're running out of our 5-metre line, and it's just unlike them. And Yancey's flinging it across, a hospital pass.
There was one in the second half.
And we nearly get absolutely smashed and try again. There were too many. If we're on the front foot, you could argue that we'll allow a few reckless passes because they come off, don't they? Yeah. Like Gabs last week, that was pretty inexcusable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You saw him trying to maybe do another one today, but experienced players like Van Rensburg and Williams, the pressure that Saints put on, I don't know what they're trying to do. Why you think it's acceptable to then fling it across 2 Saints players and think that maybe one won't intercept it? And I don't know. That system is broken. If really under the cosh we've got no plan B or C to deal with that really, really tight defensive structure, which for 2 matches, it's been pretty carbon copy, isn't it?
Yeah. And the thing that worries me is that we should be under no illusion that the defence of the opposition won't do anything different in the next 3 games. They know how to play against us. So unless we change what we're doing, we're just going to get 3 more pastings going into.
I think we might talk about what we might do when we talk about the Bath game. We'll come to that. Bear that in mind, because that's something we can talk about what we need to do. I mean, I was trying to think I've lost my train of thought, because I should say to listeners, we're in the Bristol Beer Factory tap room. We're in the kind of tented area for those that have been there, which is why sometimes we have a problem with rain. But
someone's thrown a bag of chips on the roof by the sound of it.
The hottest day.
The seagulls eating it.
The sun has been out all day. There's clearly a seagull on top of it, and
he's coming for his late Sunday lunch, isn't he?
And actually, Miles, it was quite a good time, because when you used the word abysmal, I heard the seagull go wah, wah, wah. So he obviously agreed with you as well. But it looks like the seagull has gone. But very soon, I'm thinking about lobbing a can of beer, Bristol Beer Factory beer, sacrificing. Well, we need a bit of weight behind it. And then to get that seagull out of here. But so apologies to listeners that were wondering what the hell that was.
It's all part of the show.
It's all part of the show. It's all part of live.
We need a bit of cheering up tonight.
It's face-to-face podcasting. And I mean, they don't care. The seagulls, they do their thing, don't they? Yeah. I mean, having said that, okay, and I think in a minute I'm going to come to a couple of listeners who've given us a bit of feedback, because I did put a little clarion call out to listeners, because we respect the opinions of our listeners, mainly because a lot of them know quite a lot of stuff.
Some were positive.
Yeah. And actually, I was quite interested to hear from people that were actually at the game. Because you get a different perspective sometimes when you're at the game, of the ebbs and flows that you don't get on telly, because it's quite sterile. But one of my things I was just going to say before we come to a listener was that we're in that sort of zone where we are making mistakes and we are under pressure, but we're just not getting a lot of luck either. And I'm just thinking about fantastic passage of play in the first half. We came out of the 22, we made a load of space, and we got to Ravovo on the wing, and he was through, and James Ram threw a kind of, when the goalies do it with the wrong hand to save the ball. It was like a wrong-handed tackle, and if he tried that 100 times, I reckon once out of 100 he'd get it. And it was 100% brilliant. Yeah. And it's just like we didn't have the luck with us as well. And that was another, run in. I just feel that sometimes rugby, it's a what if, and we can't deal with what ifs really. But when teams score, the momentum shifts. However, said that, how many times when we scored on Saturday did we lose possession in the restarts? And we've said this so many times. Like, how hard is it? I mean, when you score, it's almost like your adrenaline's pumped. We've scored. It's like that's when you've got to give that extra 10%. Anyway.
Cluffy used to say, didn't he?
Cluffy.
When you score a goal was the worst time to concede.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah. And it's. I mean, I know other teams do it as well, but I would think there are listeners out there like us who are, we are watchers of the game as fans, but they would agree with us that if somebody somewhere could go and do the stats and find out how many times we can turn over possession after we've just scored, and other teams as well, but particularly us, that's just, to me, is just a fundamental of the game. Yeah. That somebody somewhere say, boys, 10% more concentration now. 10% more. Anyway.
Well, we're talking about coaching then, aren't we?
We're talking about a lot of things, aren't we? We're talking about how you coach people to think clearly under pressure. But Clive Woodward's big thing about how he won the World Cup. He taught England how to think clearly under pressure. You're not always going to get everything right. The rub of the green is going to go against you, but those moments, fine margins. Right. I did ask some and one of our long-time listeners, I'm glad he responded to my tweet, Nick Howell, because Nick Howell, as some of you know, he's been on before. He's a Bristol Bears, he's a Bristol boy through and through, but he's relocated to Northampton, so he goes to watch the Saints as well. I'm sure
and he's an honest guy,
and he's straight
down the line.
He's an honest guy, and he gave me the clarion call for it. He sent us a voice note. And I think we should listen to what Nick said, because he was actually at the game, and he's kind of got a perspective in both camps. So let's have a listen to Nick, and then maybe, boys, we can comment on what he said.
Hi, chaps. Thoughts on the game. First of all, loads of Bristol fans there, seen and heard on the terrace, so fair play to all those who travelled. I think from the result, from what I saw, and then watching it back on telly this morning, definitely they're key confidence players at big games. Mitchell, Smith, Freeman, Pollock all had huge involvements in those first half tries, from the kicks and the sniping runs, etc. So really put them on the front foot, and definitely future Lions there without doubt. For us, Lane, Ravovo, Stevie, he just keeps going, doesn't he? Even on his 150th game, so that try for Marmon at the end just keeps going. Jimmy Williams was good off the bench. Definitely think we need to look at that centre partnership again of him and BBR. Look, the bus and ride on the way home must have been really quiet for the lads. They're low in confidence, that's obvious. I think we were better than we were at home to Leicester last week, but we'll need to, again, go up more gears for Sale and Bath in the next two games. Ruck speed, couldn't stop them at the rucks. Defensively, 47 missed tackles. It's just not going to win you games, no matter how good we are going forward. So, big thinking in the off-season needed. Hopefully, week off now, give a chance just to sort of get some thoughts, give them a bit of space to get their minds and come back in and get focused. See how the rest of the season goes. But from the game yesterday, lots of effort, not a lot of reward, sadly. Even the late consolation tries were literally that. But lads kept trying. That was the main thing.
So there we go, lads, and thanks very much to Nick.
Cheers, Nick.
As all, I mean, I feel like we should just play that at the beginning and then that be the end of the pod. But there was something that you picked up on there. He mentioned Stevie.
Yes.
And Lee, you just wanted to mention something. We meant to do it at the beginning.
Well, we did. But I mean, absolutely, congratulations to Stevie to 150 appearances. But it's what? It's not 196.
It's not 196.
It's not 196. So how many seasons would you need to keep going to
Well, I don't know.
catch up with us?
I mean, we started in when did we start? 2019, and we've done 196 appearances. Stevie was before because he came to so he's 217,
the championship,
218. So he needs to up his game. I mean, he's had some time off injured. I mean, we haven't had any injuries.
And a few kids as well.
We've had a few. Well, we've had a few. But anyway, that we're joking. We're trying to.
We are.
But actually, the point we're trying to make is clearly Stevie's a legend. We're not trying to belittle Stevie's 150 appearances.
He's the glue of our team, isn't he?
But,
and also, we should say, he signed a new contract, doesn't he? Or extended. And I think what he gives us, not just on the field, but off the field is vitally important for Bears going forward.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm sure he's also contributing to the economy of Clifton Village.
Yeah,
as well,
he lives
which
up
is good.
Gloucester Road.
Only Gloucester Road.
Did you see that? Because there's a little sort of piece on him where he likes to walk in Bristol with his
he's
dog
such a
and his
great guy.
kids. Yeah,
Such a great guy.
Yeah, great
so
guy.
back to it though. I mean, Nick has pointed out a few things we've discussed already, but a couple of things we hadn't discussed, which is why we get these we get people on. He made a point about their big players.
Yeah. Well, how good they were.
How good they were. Now, they are at home. They're in front of their home crowd. But, that's the kind of thing, isn't it? We've got good players. And those, today, on Saturday, their big players stepped up.
I feel sorry for Rands a little bit
100%.
because he's really got overshadowed by Mitchell.
Yeah.
And Mitchell was class, wasn't he?
But Mitchell was playing off a front foot platform.
Absolutely. And one Rands has got front foot platform. He does the same.
Yeah.
But it's just really unfortunate when they go head to head, like as in yesterday, and it was such a gulf of difference. And Finn Smith overshadowed AJ, and I think also we've already said that's the key focus in any rugby match. If 9 in 10 are doing well, then you're doing the team are doing well. We struggle,
And this is the thing about wanting to play an expansive game. You have to earn the right
Absolutely.
to do it, and you have to look after the ball.
Yeah.
And that comes from the forwards as much, and it comes from the dirty work. It comes from presenting the ball in the ruck properly. It comes from making the right decision. If you're going to offload, you're exposing the ball to a tackle, and then you drop it. Or do you make that decision to take it into the contact? Like Saints, there was a couple of times where Saints were so patient. They were recycling. They weren't trying to offload, but they knew they had ruck speed, and then they span it wide. And I just think it's so, it's so clear that when a team's got ascendancy, that's what's happening. And Rands and AJ did the best they could. Like I thought they actually did all right.
They did,
considering they were on it.
Yeah.
They tried it, but I think the bottom line is that if you want to win a game, home, away, wherever, your pack has got to be at least on parity with the opposition pack in terms of, because you will have moments of ascendancy, and you've got to make. And I don't think we did really ever on Saturday get on top of them in terms of the dirty stuff.
No, we didn't.
And therefore we were constantly forcing stuff. It came off a couple of times, and that makes it exciting for us because we do have those players. But there was no real kind of core, organic sort of momentum. Miles.
Their breakdown was just phenomenally fast, wasn't it? As was their attack. Bristol have been a bit guilty of this. We have great players who do solo runs, but how often do we see them get exposed? And then, as happened at the weekend, we try and protect the ball, and we just, and we block off the ball and get pinged for it. I don't think I saw Saints do that once. They just didn't need to. Their support from their players, they didn't need to do these bounding runs, individual runs, to get themselves exposed on the pitch. There was no need. They saw the way Bristol played. They just went forward 10 metres. They knew that they had 4 or 5 backs to support them, got in their breakdown quickly and recycled the ball. And it's odd. I don't know why we feeling like we have to do these, individual exposed runs, and we're constantly now, it's getting a bit tiring, exposing ourselves and trying to defend the ball, and we just get pinged for
You
it.
sound like you're talking about exposing yourself with is this what happened in the late 80s?
I've gone back to his gravel smite park days.
You're a lot better, and I know what you're saying. At this point, I did ask. I had a couple of Saints fans, or actually, no, sorry,
nice.
I asked that somebody at the game, and Nick was at the game. We also had Ryan on Twitter, which is at PAFC Ryan, and not sure we've come across PAFC Ryan before, but Ryan, he came to the Clarion Call and he sent us a picture. I'll show you the boys'
Excellent.
picture.
So definitely
None of the
there.
listeners can see it, but he was definitely at the ground because he sent a picture of Franklin's Gardens, and he said, couldn't string more than 2 passes together, overcomplicated things for no reason. The amount of missed tackles was sickening, and the scrums were very shaky, but the ref was dubious. So, mate, and then scoreline was definitely sugar-coated. So, I mean, it's interesting. The ref was Adam Leal, who we quite like because we met him at the Harlequins game.
I don't feel.
I thought he did all right. I mean,
I
we had
feel
Ryan didn't see it live, and
okay.
I mean, I thought I could be shot down. I thought the ref got everything right.
So did I.
Yeah.
Maybe not everything, but
Some of the
90%.
The late TMA calls were a bit frustrating.
But that's not the ref's fault.
It's not the ref's fault. But the forward passes, I was saying to the Duchess, forward! And the TMO should have picked up on that immediately.
I suppose
rather than
some Bears
score.
fans would say the ref penalised us for a couple of ceilings off, which is always that kind of, if you do it too obvious too early, you get pinged.
Yeah, but
And
that's not down to him, was it? That's down to us.
Yeah, but it's all they talk about painting a picture. Saints, obviously, their pack painted a picture that was fine, and to him, and you got to adapt.
I thought he'd had a right game, Adam Leal. Yeah.
We also had a couple of Saints fans came on. I don't know what a Saints. You reckon you could do a Saints accent? I'm not sure. It's like East Midlands. It's a funny old accent, isn't it? It's a funny old accent. But anyway, who was it? Good Georgie.
Just give us a Brummie. Just give us a generic Brummie.
Good win for the Saints, but annoying to give you a point. I like but that's bound to happen when we're trying to save our players for next week. Oh yeah, he reminded us he's in the blooming Champions Cup semi-finals. If you kept yourself in it, now this is interesting. If you had kept yourself in it until the 50th minute, it could have been a different game. So he felt that we did spurn a few chances. Right. And we'd given ourselves too much to do in the second half. And probably highlighting what I said, that I thought at times we did, but fair play to him. And then, then...
You mean when it was 48-19?
Georgie04. So I don't know who Georgie04 is, but one of our boys had said, did Saints switch off, or did we finally remember who we are, in terms of referring to our bonus point tries? I lean to the former. This is Charlie Andrews. It sounds like a Charlie Andrews.
No relation of mine.
Like lives in Clifton. I lean to the former, my lord. Anyway, Georgie04 came straight back saying, in his Northampton accent, we took everyone off. Literally everyone, apparently. We took everyone off and had a weak bench. That's what's happened. He's like a prosecution.
To be that salty, even in victory.
Then Charlie Andrews...
1 point, that's all we asked for.
Charlie Andrews, rather than taking the bait, said, my thoughts too. Oh, Charlie, you've let yourself down there, mate. You had a chance to punch back. And then said, I mean, you could have said, what, you mean everyone? What, there was nobody on the pitch at all? But you could have said that. But he did, Charlie. I really appreciate you getting in touch, but you've let yourself down there, lad. Yeah. Because then you basically then gave Georgie04 another in, and he goes, also, apart from taking everyone off and having a weak bench, we had 14 men for 6 minutes at the end. Because, CUZ, like it, Dingwall went off with an HIA.
So be it.
He is Charlie.
He's salty.
I don't know
right on the ankle bone there, isn't he?
You have been, he's gone in with 12 studs. Yeah. Charlie has been taken out, 12 studs, and Charlie's got up and shook his hand. Yeah. Oh, fair tackle, mate.
I just want to add, I hate agreeing with Miles, but I just want to add, the thing for us is, and I wrote this down at the time, we did struggle at breakdown, but we missed kicks at the vital moments as well, which just, those kicks, they just give you that little bit of platform again, and it is basics.
Is that little AJ that is it overcooked?
I don't want to slay
there was a kick in the hut when we needed to grasp momentum, and a kick from hard work to get a penalty did not go into
You're right.
touch.
It wasn't the first
We don't know
kick
who
of the game
we don't know who kicked it.
that missed the touch or went to a Saints player. Was
It was a kick. Somebody did.
Many kicks.
And you just feel when we're talking about a solid platform, we've lost it ourselves, haven't we?
It was
we deserve to lose that game.
We did, and I think
we have to
we
hold our hands
tried our
up.
best.
Yeah.
And Nick made a good point, said it wasn't quite as bad maybe as we thought. And I agree with him, and he said it wasn't as bad as Leicester, but that was bad. I mean, that was bad.
That's not really a authoritative.
Nick's done well, but
Challenge yourself.
I got a point.
right?
Yeah.
Because we've been skirting around. I mean, let's be honest, it was bad. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was bad, and it's cumulatively. It's like compound interest. It's like you've taken out a loan. We took out a loan on the Exeter game, didn't we?
Yeah.
We thought, let's take a loan out, but like we've now had 3 games in a row where interest has been paid. We didn't realise it was 1,000%, and it's now compound interest of about 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Like we're in a Wonga situation here, and it's hard to get out of this. It's a cumulative misery. And you know what? On that note, I'm going to read out a few listener posts.
Any positive ones?
They're at the end.
Okay,
So I'm
yeah.
going to go. I'm going to go dark.
good.
What I'm going to do? I'm
Yeah.
going to go
You're
dark.
starting a dark place.
And I'm assuming these people are happy to have their names read out because they did respond to my clarion call. And then we'll finish with a bit of positive. So here we go.
a bit of light.
I'm just going to
at the
read,
end.
and then we'll see if you boys have got anything to say.
Go
So,
for it.
Mark Buddy Boy 51. Lack of defensive structure is clearly an issue, but I'm also concerned that we can't kick goals unless in front of posts. Kick any distance to touch or win our own line out. All pretty basic skills that other teams work out pretty quickly and exploit. Man after your own heart, Miles. Well spotted there. Mr. G at BRS Gary. Gary. He's one of the few Garys left in the world. Gary, it may be time to look at the head coach now. 3 big losses on the bounce and defence all over the place. Can't see us winning another game this season, to be honest. Come back to that. Carwyn Jones. Now, Carwyn, I love this. Carwyn Jones is at Cones Jarwin. Love it. Carwyn had a bit of a rant. I mean, I didn't say only 1 post, please. He went 3. But I feel like
He's
the
like
effort.
he's like a creature,
Well,
is he?
Passion.
It's passion because Carwyn thought 150 letters.
They weren't enough.
Words not enough.
No.
And we don't.
450.
And he obviously hasn't got the upgrade where you can write as much as you want. So he said, because I had put clearly another bad day at the office, and he hit back straight away and said, "Is it another bad day at the office, or is it just issues with our game laid bare once again? We were never the best team in the league, not even close. Our flashy attack masked the defensive breakdown and discipline issues for half the season." And then he's put continued with an arrow down.
Yeah.
So I've got to continue.
You've got to.
Lack of game time due to early Europe and Prem Cup exits means players are blowing sooner than usual. Not match fit. Some injuries mean attacking cohesion is shot. Therefore, our usual pass and someone will be there approach doesn't work. And he finishes off saying defensive structure is awful. People flying out the line or jamming in, trying to make big hits, which plays into the oppo's hands. No jackling threat to slow opposition balls, so they just play fast when they attack. Conceding 35 plus points per game since Christmas doesn't warrant a playoff spot.
Wow. That's a lot to dissect.
I mean,
Are we
it's
dissecting
hard.
that?
He's
after?
actually kind of like not blamed individually. He's basically blamed a lot of circumstances as well, and he's right. We are match rusty in some ways, and we have had injury problems and cohesion.
That doesn't help.
But that's what you said at the beginning. It's like we haven't. Other teams seem to have got over that.
We weren't forced to have a smaller squad, were we?
Well,
and have this sort of injury crisis in all the key positions. So I think a few listeners
It's
have
good points well made
pointed that out.
from. And then Tom the Toffee, he actually put this out before the Clarion call. He went early, straight after the game. Tom the Toffee. Do you know what he said? Alternative PU10. Not heard of Tom the Toffee. Actually, new.
Everton fan.
It sounds like it, doesn't it? Let's have a quick look at his profile. Oh no, I didn't. So I can't see it. Right, here he goes. He goes, "Oh Bristol, you will be the end of me." This is on this, and actually this came on Saturday. This was about 8 o'clock on Saturday. I nearly rang the Samaritans, to be fair. "Oh Bristol, you will be the end of me. When the Bears' way works, it's very good, but when it doesn't, it's very bad. There seems no winning ugly, or so." And he's put a little. I see we're a family pod. He said, so for us it's, and he's put a little emoji of some poo. Poo or bust, he said.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it possible to win a league playing this way? What do you think, Bears Beyond the Gate? Looking forward to your cathartic pod.
Okay, are we going to answer that
You
right
go
now?
for
Yeah.
it.
It's a
Please
yes
go
or no,
for it.
yeah?
Yes or no?
No, we will not win anything playing the way we're playing without a defence.
Miles?
Never. Never. We're
Never
not,
ever.
No.
Oh, no, you're right. If
ever,
it
ever.
doesn't change.
Okay, if it doesn't change,
No, I
I'm
agree.
afraid under the current sort of structure and system that's,
Yeah,
under
so
Pat
no.
Lam,
Yeah.
we are not going to win
sit
the
there.
league in this fashion without some
I
great
think
defence.
I also have to, as Charlie Andrews would say, my lad, I lean to the no.
Me lad and me lord.
The lad of my lord, I also lean to the no, partly because we've also seen this happen in 2021.
I might have said
where we had the chance and we just couldn't do it.
I've got a caviat. Probably,
Not a caveat for a while.
when we were on that 9-win away win
Streak.
I would have had a different point of view, but we're allowed to change our mind.
What's changed from that?
Well, I don't know. I would have said, Jesus, this is the year. Pete, you even bought a cheap final ticket. I wish you hadn't now. But now, you're right. We're allowed to change our mind from what we've seen in the last 4 games. I just cannot see it.
Right.
Cannot see it.
So I started the season probably slightly negatively, thinking we're going to finish about 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then, as Miles said, the way we were playing, I actually thought this team wasn't just the way we were beating teams. It felt like the team spirit that we had could win something, because any team that wins anything has got to have a team spirit, a bond.
Yeah.
And I felt we had it. I still want to feel we've got it, but I just feel recent events, recent games have just kind of put me back to... It's probably where I was thinking at the beginning of the season. And
You know who we need on? We need to get back in touch with Elgin Alderman.
we do.
Because
what
he
he
was a big...
thinks.
And we need to find... He may have some thoughts on this. Because
Well, what's gone wrong?
we got him on before the Exeter game, and he was our big cheerleader.
Was?
The Bears cheerleader in the national press.
He was the one.
And he had said, he made some good points. He said, why can't they? I think Elgin, I'm going to get back on. I'll get back in touch with Elgin and
Yeah.
see what he thinks.
Yeah.
Because he may,
He might have some insight for the final 3 games. Give Pat a call.
yeah.
Tell him what he needs to do.
You're right. There's one more. I feel like I've got to read this out because it felt like this was cathartic venting from this person again. And I think this was also sent a couple of minutes
beers.
after the end of the game, maybe a couple of glasses of red wine. It's Dominic Somerville.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd be we've had Dominic before and appreciate it. And Dominic, looking at his profile, he looks like more of a red wine man than a Thatcher's man. But I could be wrong. Dominic, you can have a go at
Very
me.
judgmental today.
Judgmental, but Dominic has said at Bears Beyond the Gate, and he's gone straight in there. There's no faffing around. He said, "Can't wait for your review of this rubbish." That's confirmation bias,
Is that
right
it?
there. He
Is
didn't
that
give us
it?
much choice, did he? This rubbish. We have no defence, no response to aggressive D in our attacking game. From where we were 4 games ago to now, there can't be lessons, learnings, talking about. We are truly awful. Now, Dominic, I can see that is, that's passion.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
And
Yeah.
I love his passion. I would say that if he reflected, quite a lot of absolutes there. He's got many, but,
But why reflect when you're...
that's what he felt.
Sometimes those opinions, those passions right after the game are your true self coming out.
It is.
And I
And we
love
appreciate
that.
it. We
I
love
do
it.
love that.
But we are going to finish. I think we've had enough of this now because we need to move on.
Something
But we're going to
positive.
finish with a positive. And when you're down and out sometimes, you know what you need? A good poem.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of the good times when we had lots of acrostics coming in. And Hammy Hambley, the poet laureate,
Oh, yes.
the Bears Beyond the Gate poet laureate, without even prompting, he knew the pain that everyone's going. And he said, at Bears Beyond the Gate, here's a short, sharp summary. Try to find a little positivity. And we need that because we did say at the beginning we're trying to be balanced. And this is Hammy. It's an acrostic, boys. So should we do the old thing? You haven't seen this, I don't
No.
think. So you've got to try and guess the acrostic.
Go, okay, yeah.
I'd say it's bittersweet, this. Right, here we go. Disappointed to ship so many points again. Everyone knows our plan A. Final 4 is going to be hard to keep. Exciting to have Gabs back. Nice to get a bonus point. cohesion is not there. Extremely big, quote, home game next.
Defence. We had that on the first three, I think.
He gave us some positivity, but he's cut us down at the end, doesn't he?
Defense.
But Hammy, we love it. We love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Do you know what? That just reminded me then. I watched a Flyers game a while back, and the guy on the PA, and it just every now and again he goes, defense. I'm going to be lovely if we could get that.
Rather than Bristol,
Defense.
defense. There's our new song.
Instead of Simba Cam,
That's
It'd
all
be
we
lovely,
got to
wouldn't
do. Defense, coalition, defense.
But it's got to be
line speed.
just to remind them.
That would be so
players,
good.
wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
maybe that's up to us.
Yeah.
We could be the extra element of the
Maybe.
coaching team.
I mean, maybe
Give
you
it
know,
a
Man,
I mean,
as you will.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to do this.
It's the
I mean, we
16,000th
almost
man.
need a good local derby at home at
do.
Ashton Gate next to do this.
I'll tell
don't
you what,
we almost
we
need
do.
something
Well,
like that.
let's do it
But we can
because
segue in because
we have got yet another break, and I've got to say,
Oh.
I mean, I know every team is in the same boat here, but this is a shambles.
It's
shambles.
It's a shambolic.
Yeah.
I mean, every
Season,
shambolic
players,
season.
everyone.
Yeah.
Does any pundit, player, or follower of the game think this has been in any shape or form a well-structured season? Shambles, absolute bloody
No,
shambles.
I'd go as far as to say you couldn't actually fuck it up anymore.
No.
Not if you
Genuinely.
Not if you had a PhD
Yeah.
in
In fucking
fucking
things
uppery.
up.
And
Yeah.
apologies for
Yeah,
once,
apologies
we've
for the
gone
language,
beyond the
but-
boundaries.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is though, having said that, there was that thing we discussed the other week about the new franchise thing that might change things. But let's move on from that. Right, the big day out. I'm not convinced that the marketing men expected us to be in this position just before the big day out. The good news is we have got a bit of time to sort this out.
A week.
Now, we aren't going to sort out, I don't think the general game plan is going to change. So we know, like I did the post article and I said that the one positive thing is we are still in the top four. Therefore, we still have destiny in our
Our own
hands.
hands.
Of course, that means winning every game. Now, we've lost 3. That doesn't help, but every game is a new game.
Yeah.
But we probably hoped that it wasn't having to come down to this. We hoped that in the last 3 games we could have got something, but we didn't. So, the big day out. It seems, I would say on balance it looks like a success. 40,000 plus tickets. It's more than they had for Judgment Day, the Welsh thing. It's a one-off because Bath ain't going to be playing their next season. It's going to be Gloucester or someone. We've got rid of the one home game we thought almost was a banker to win, but we've got to win it. We've got to win it. We know that we're not going to fundamentally change stuff. So how the hell are we going to win the big day out and it's our day out. It's not their day out. But how are we going to win this? A team that has basically already got a home advantage is playing well, although they have got their weaknesses. How are we going to do this, boys? Is there any hope? Lee, is there any hope?
I mean, you're asking the guy who's not going to be there.
No, but I want your opinion anyway.
Because you know the reasons I won't be there. And for me, it's even more of a shambles.
Yeah.
Because this is the time now where we actually need a home game, as in a home game, as in 200 yards down the road from where we are recording this pod right now.
Yeah.
And we've given it all away. We've given it, and I know we've talked about the reasons why and for. We've done all that.
About it, yeah.
We've talked all about that. But actually, at this moment in time, a home game at Ashton Gate against Bath would have been the best.
Yeah.
The best tonic we need.
That ain't going to happen, obviously.
No.
So, Miles, we have to deal with what we've got in front of us. You can only play with what you got in front of you. Any sort of tweak, because it's going to have to be tweaks. It can't be fundamental change. So, what tweaks are we going to make to win this game in Cardiff?
I mean, you're right. Is there anything?
They got relegated, didn't they? Anyway, as a football ref. Right, carry on.
Right, so we've got 1 week off. We've got a rest period. There's only
No rest.
no rest. They're bloody
Yeah.
2, right? The weather looks fantastic over the next week. I'm flipping hope they're there 10 hours a day.
I take a
training.
patch and take them to somewhere where it's raining.
Yeah.
Like Cardiff?
Yeah, Cardiff. Yeah. Anyway, Miles, sorry.
So the reef's
carry
going to be on. So it's irrelevant if it rains.
Right, Miles,
that
come on.
day.
Go for
So
it.
you're right. What tweaks can you do? I don't know. I found
I just asked you for any. You just said you don't know.
there's maybe a few glimmers of hope. Not many.
Shafts
Not many.
or glimmers?
Maybe a few glimmers.
Yeah.
There's a few stars forming 26
Lightning.
billion light years away
Yeah.
that may reach Cardiff within 2 weeks. All right.
So what are you saying? Come on.
I'll give you one glimmer.
I get what
James Dunn coming back.
injuries. Injuries coming back.
Yes.
So
Friend of the
Dunnery's, not Dunnery, Dunny.
Sorry, Dunnery from Dundry.
Hopefully would have passed his HIA protocol and he'll be back.
Yeah.
As you rightly said, Lee, the engine room didn't have enough grunt, didn't have enough horsepower at the weekend, did it? Owen we love, but he's got more legs.
He's just come back from
Yeah,
injury
he's got more legs.
And he has to be part
more
of the
legs than
system.
Grunt. He's got to
You
be
need
part of the
Grunt
system.
and Owen.
Caulfield's not there
And Caulfield's
next year.
not there. So we're hoping that Bats was nearly there 2 weeks ago. If we can get Dunn and Bats back, or at least one of them, that's a massive start.
Huge.
Um,
That's good.
don't quite know, and this
That's your one
is
shaft of
clutching at straws because it's a sad state of affairs that we're relying on some decent system players to come back in, but you can't mince around the fact that the last 3 games it hasn't bloody worked with the players that we've got, and something has to change. Our training plan's not going to change. You almost right off that.
Combinations.
You almost could. What do you say? Right off that bullshit about analysing the weekend, because Saints were that good, that many good system England players. That what's the point in reflecting on it? That how good Mitchell was, how good Finn Smith was. Let's get over that. We're facing a team at the top of their game, have been all bloody season. Would you feel like they might
Do you know
rest
what,
a player,
Miles?
but unfortunately they ain't going to be thinking
This
like
reminds
that.
me of when you came second in the Bristol biggest marrow competition.
Oh, yeah.
And
Two
you
entries.
didn't dwell on the fact that somebody had a bigger marrow than you.
Yeah.
You dwelt on the fact that how am I going to make my marrow bigger?
Bigger next year. Absolutely.
And I like it.
We've basically got to train within an inch of our lives. In fact,
Yeah.
I hope there'll be some near deaths in the next
You've got
2
to get a new
in the
mix of
next week.
fertiliser, new soil,
Yeah.
new tending it. Lee, give me a shaft of light. Miles has done well there. Engine
Miles has
room,
done
he said.
Yeah, engine room. Well, the shaft of light. I don't. Pat won't change.
No, we know that.
No,
Yep.
we know that.
So that's not going to
Could
happen.
it be like a tweak of combinations, a tweak of something, or
Yeah.
something coming together?
We put Jimmy Williams
Yeah.
back in the
the
centre
centre.
with Yancey
Yeah.
van Rensburg. That's our best centre partnership. Obviously, we've got Gabs on the wing, and I think probably Calavate on the other wing.
The other way.
Yeah. But
And I
he
think-
also needs to concentrate on his
He
tackling.
really does. I mean, to be honest, some of it wasn't great, was it, against Saints? But
No.
but
But he will strike fear.
absolutely going forward.
Yeah,
But the whole point of that is the platform.
yeah,
So we get a platform in Cardiff.
yeah,
We got a game plan.
yeah.
But without that platform, we got nothing at all.
Yeah.
But I do feel the training isn't an issue for me.
No.
And,
No.
it's
now down
One
to-
of our listeners said about fitness and stuff. I don't agree with that. I think we're one of the fittest teams in the league. So that's not an issue for me.
It's down
personally.
it's down to here. It's
Mentors.
what I'm now
Mental.
pointing at my
Yes.
head. Do you know what? He came on and did a job. I noticed. I forgot when Jan Thomas came on.
Yeah.
What we need is filth for Bath. Get a Bristol. Jan
Absolutely.
Thomas, I'd start him. If he's fit, get him in the scrum
Yep.
early doors. Get him up against Will Stewart. Say, Will
Yeah.
Stewart, you're a great player. You're going to go to Lions. Actually, will he be a game? I'm now thinking. Well, if Jan comes on at Loosehead, then you got Genji at Loosehead. We'll see. Anyway, I don't want to go down that
No,
Afoa
but the
route.
point you're making
Yeah.
is
I think we need to get some filth on the ground, and
Yeah.
I think Jan came on, did a good job. Our scrum, we won a couple of scrum pens, didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah, we
After
did.
a game. So I would say you're right. We've got to look at our forwards first. We know what our backs can do.
Yeah.
We know we can do that. You're right about the centre partnership. You're right, but we know what our backs can do. We need to grunt up. So Dunny coming back,
Yeah.
Bats coming back.
Yeah.
I mean that we can't control that. That's in,
No,
but I hope that will happen. We need a front row that are just going to are just going to not, are going to dominate early doors. Get them under pressure. Bath will crack under pressure. They have done.
I think O'Gray comes back in.
I think O'Gray's a scrummager. I think I got issue, but I think O'Gray is a unit, and I would start him.
I would
start him.
And also, I want a bit more from Genji.
And I think Genji
he almost.
And I think Genji needs this now. I think this is his time.
Yeah, it feels like we don't criticise Genji when he's not had the best game. I mean, we don't criticise any players, or we try not to. But I just feel there's a little bit more in Genji that I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
And I just want that back. I want Genji to be doing Genji things again.
I agree.
His head's been down, and you get that, because look at our last 3 results. But you're right, but we don't need that from a leader, do we?
No.
We need him to be on top, encouraging the players around him, which he does. Let's not deny that at all. He's a fantastic, encouraging chap.
Brilliant role model, everything else.
Brilliant role model, but when things aren't going right in the scrum, you can see his head drop, and we need the next 3 games to him to be at top of his game and not succumb to the dark arts of the other teams are mucking around within their scrum, don't we? And just be on it all the time.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is win the platform, win the game. But I think there's one little extra cherry, and this is controversial because this is controversial because
I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say.
I think I love AJ, love him, Alan, as we like to call him.
I think I know where you're going.
But if Bernie's fit, and Bernie had a bad game at Gloucester, and he's title, but his boot, we have got to put Bath under pressure. We can put them under pressure up top, but we also need to put them on their back foot.
Yes.
And Byrne has got a spiral kick that I would marry if I believed in.
He'd be taking the roof off off the stadium.
I just feel that it's a risk. Do we start, if Byrne's fit, do we put Byrne back on? We've paid for him to be here.
Yeah.
It's like we paid for you, mate. You're 4th choice at Leinster. If you want to get back to Leinster's 2nd or 1st, we need you to do this. We need you to clear the lines. We need you to get Bath back on. I need you to drill the corners. We need a flat pass.
I don't think it's controversial. I would almost, as mad as it sounds, go with that fact that we need a massive
dirty by saying
dirty boot, a spiral boot into the corner. Something's got to change.
But as soon as it looks like if Bernie's had, if he's not going to deliver, then bring AJ on straight away. What do you think, Lee? You're looking very.
I'm not too. I don't know. I get it. I do get it. In principle,
we got to win.
If it works, it works. Yeah. I just kind of feel also that game could be tailor-made for AJ.
It could be.
I really do feel that.
And I think, you know what? I think we'll leave it hanging.
Yeah.
I
mean,
think
it'd be interesting to see what
I've
the
thrown
listeners
it out
think.
there. I've thrown it out there. I'm not sure I 100% believe. I feel dirty.
Do you feel as if? I mean, I feel like if he's fit, he's got to come in on the bench.
He's always got to be there somewhere,
hasn't he?
We need Bernie as an option. Let's say, okay, I'm going to rein back. He's an option. In fact, you know what? I've completely U-turned. I've got a hand on hand. I'm saying, of course, why wouldn't we start with AJ? But if it's just not working, if we're finding ourselves 3 tries to 1 down at half time and it's looking bad, we've got to have an option. Yeah. And Bernie's going to give us a kicking option. So you know what? I've completely changed my mind. I might have to edit this bit out, actually.
No, you don't.
No, I'm not.
You're right. If we've got because there's going to be plenty of people that actually will listen to this tomorrow morning and go, actually, that's a great shout.
It's a good thing.
If they've got Finn Russell kicking it from here to, Kingdom Come, then
I feel
we've
like
got to have that option.
I feel like, you know what? The way we've talked there, I feel like it's going to be easy.
Bath. I mean, we don't like saying this, do we?
We've got to get it under their heads.
But we have to say that's the only way I think we can win.
We've got to put. They improved against that second half at Exeter the other week. They played bad.
Yeah,
Exeter got under their skin, and we beat them. We're the only team.
You get under Finn Russell's skin, force the odd error, which we've done that, haven't we?
So, I mean, I think we just got. I don't really like this. We just got for once. We got to get
nasty,
really nasty. I want to see Genji in his face. I want to see Genji in Will Stewart's face. He's basically his mate from England.
Yeah.
No, I want to see all that filth. I want to see O'Gray filthy. Yeah. I want to see Jan in there reliving Ashton Park days.
I want to see a testicle fucking squeezed.
It's the
Properly
rugby
squeezed in that
equivalent
scrum.
of Vinnie Jones on Gaza,
Yes.
for those people that know
That's
what I'm
I
talking
want to
about.
see.
Almost-
That's the amount of filth I want to
But
see.
almost in post-match interview, Pat alluded to that. He said, "Bristol Bears, that'll game will play itself out. It'll sort itself out." And what he fucking means is he knows we don't lose that shit.
Well, he said that.
We
a lot
do
of
not
times.
lose that
Well, he's
game.
got his caveat. He said we don't lose at Ashton
Home
Gate.
games.
Yeah.
So what we've got to do is we've got to get. I'll tell you what we've got to do. We've got to get onto the Welsh government, and we've got to get Ashton Gate written on the side. Get rid of the Principality sign just for one day. In fact, if they don't do it, Miles,
We'll
you and
take
me,
Bearsby on the gate flag.
we'll take the Bearsby on the gate flag and write Ashton Gate on it as well, and hang it over the entrance.
We're playing, in all seriousness, we're playing a team that have got, they're already up there.
Yeah,
Got top spot.
They'll play with a freedom
yeah,
that worries me because they've got players that can play with freedom.
I know.
And the only way we can win this game is to do exactly what we've said, get into their faces and try and
we
mash
know the
them up
boys
a bit.
will make the effort.
Oh, yeah. There's
no lack of that.
No doubt. No
Right.
doubt.
I've just looked at the time. We've got to move on. I think we've done that. So we won the game against Bath. Then it's Sale, but we'll deal with that another time. Right. Last thing. I want to finish off. There was one other thing. Now, we had a couple of tags on social media, and I saw that Bristol Bears official account on Twitter had already also tagged this. But there has been a new song has been composed and sung, and is now available for download on Spotify and various things. And it's called Come On You Bristol Bears. And we got an email from the guy who's instigated it, which is Paul Hobbs60 at sky.com. So Paul Hobbs. And I thought, because it's being done for charity, in other words, it's being done to raise money for the Bristol Bears Community Foundation, I'm going to read out the email that Paul has sent to us so we can promote it as well. And then I'll leave the listeners to find out for themselves, to have a listen to it and so on. So it goes, hi all. That's us three. Hi all. I understand you've been tagged several times into clips of my song to aid the Bristol Bears Foundation. The anthem, and it's called Come On You Bristol Bears. The anthem has been greatly received with its rousing, inspiring sing-along chorus with the traditional Bristol chant. The club was brilliant, supporting my 30th charity fundraising year and honoured me with the match ball delivery against Saracens. It did more than honour and support me. It gave me a huge pick-up after devastatingly losing my wife and soulmate in the summer. The idea came with the chant, and I wanted to give something back. The song is out tomorrow, so this was sent to me on the 24th of April, so it's already out. And all download proceeds are going to the foundation.
Brilliant.
Hoping it will be supported in big numbers and the foundation reaps welcome benefits from its fundraising and awareness. I'm sure it will be played and hopefully grows into a joyful favourite and a further boost to boost vocally both teams. Many thanks for your support, Paul Hobbs. So cheers, Paul. We really appreciate that. We're very happy to promote it because it's a great cause. People can, I'll put the link in our show notes, but people just Google, YouTube, Come On You Bristol Bears, and let us know. Maybe we'll be singing it in Cardiff.
Well, I'm slightly disappointed that Paul didn't ask our kind
Ask
of
us.
ask us to sing it for him.
We could be the backing boy. You know when you get in a pop song, you get 3 backing singers that do the little dances. We could have been there in the
Bananarama.
Bananarama.
We could have been Bananarama.
Anyway,
In all fairness, brilliant cause.
Yeah, thank you for your.
Cheers, mate. We really appreciate that. Well, boys, I don't think there's much else to talk about. I feel like we've managed to squeeze out about an hour of stuff. With many thanks to our listeners this week for those contributions.
Yeah.
But I think we need to knock it on the head.
Yeah, without the listeners, we couldn't have done it, could we?
Absolutely.
No.
So we'll be we'll dissect. We're about to dissect the Bath game, won't we?
Yeah, and we're not doing a pod next Sunday for preview because we don't really know what to
we've
talk
talked about that today.
So hopefully, me and Miles are going. We've got an early train. I've booked the tickets. Allegedly, I have reserved seats on about the 9:48 from Bristol.
I know it is early. Spoons brunch.
We're sweet, and then we're going to go to the Walkabout Bar, I think, because there's some stuff going on in the Walkabout Bar.
Some
apparently.
Q&As.
So
apparently,
if you see us, feel free to
punch us.
Anyway, on that note, boys, I think it's time to finish. So, everyone, have a good week. Hope you enjoyed listening, and
Up the Bears!